Go live is the thing to do on this wonderful Tuesday day.
Yes, indeed. We are back.
Hi, guys. Ah, shit, son. I gotta fix my display.
Dear me. Well, I mean, the obvious joke, Stuart, is of course, kaplach to you and your house.
Yes, and your house as well, sir. And Ozzy throws in $2 and says, Superior Commander, say Kless.
Kless.
I think we know what he was doing.
Kaleches.
For the glory of Kalis, Klingons have returned. The Klingons are back to being ribbed for our pleasure.
Or spiked. Or angled. Stuart, don't brand them just ribbed. There's a whole load of Klingon forehead fun to be had.
I guess the only question is, are they pre-lubricated?
Well, they got two somethings, so
they don't though.
Two
nacelles per ship.
Oh, so Dreadnought there 3.
Hey, that's never been canonized, so.
Stuart, did you not watch Star Trek Picard season 3?
I didn't see them 3 nacelle Klingon ships.
No, but the Federation ones.
Federation, yes, but Klingon, not so much. There's no C7s or B10s going around. So
deep 37s, F6s, A12, every number, Stuart.
Sure.
Hi, Stuart. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good. Been finishing Romulan shots for people today. Many a Romulan.
Shouldn't you have been doing Klingon shots?
Before this live, I did. Well, actually, it's funny. One was a Klingon ship, and then they directed to cut them from the film. So actually, there was a Klingon sequence, and they took it out. Just sad, 'cause I quite like the shot.
That sucks.
There's two shots. There's a Romulan. They fight Romulans and Klingons because the ship flies between two parts of the planet, whatever. And there's a nice bird of prey shot, and the bird of prey is obviously smaller. So it's like, oh, it's big compared to our shuttle, but manageable. And then a D7, and it's like, oh my god, we have to zoom out because it's so big.
Was it a D7? Did it have the?
That was a D7.
Oh, okay.
D7. Yes. But anyway, so I like that juxtaposition of scale because you put a ship next to a bigger ship, you think one thing, and then you throw a shuttle next to it, it feels giant. That's why I like when filmmakers make me do like Connie shots where it feels big. It has a weight to it.
So you like the season 1 shot of the first time we see the D7, where there's the Discovery shuttle, and then like zoom, this Klingon D7, which is not a D7, comes in as the prison ship above the shuttle, right? You like that shot? Cause...
I think you're retconning my views a little bit there, Stuart. And you gotta be careful with the retcon, Stuart. Don't want to make it truly canon. I'm gonna start a poll.
Trek A. Yeah, go for it. Trek A, Trek Fanatic, member for 39 months. Well, with the rank of lieutenant, says, "Hi guys, today is a good day to live stream. Indeed, all the Klingon jokes shall be played out today. I'm sure." 34 people here, which is awesome. 26 likes. That's also awesome. But we can do better. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Super chat in. We want to hear from you guys. Ozzy is the first super chatter, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Ozzy. Super chat. To honor our house and to bring glory to yours. This is the way. Wait a minute. That's wrong again. Anyway. And if we get enough super chats by the end of the live stream, we will yell Kapla in a very Klingon manner to celebrate. But we need your help to get those super chats that we need. So please super chat in. We'd really appreciate it. We want to hear from you guys. We do read them all. So you get whatever you type read out aloud for all to hear. And yes, it's a good way to support the channel and help us out. And help yourself out by getting your voice out there. So what's wrong? Why aren't you doing it? There's no super chats. Super chat. Anyway.
All right, read the poll. Then I will put the fleet video. Okay.
Hold on a second. Right. The poll says.
And then I will share. And yes, what people think.
Snua Klingons. Snua. Oh, Strange New World Klingons. Are they close enough to classic TNG Klingons, or could be a little closer. The options are pretty great. They work. Not quite close enough. I don't like them. Or best Klingon makeup ever.
Ever.
Go vote in the poll.
All right, I'm going to play the Fleet video, and I'll see you after I properly share. Fleet in 3, 2, 1. Where's the button?
There we go. There's the Fleet video, guys. YouTube can be a part of this. Have your name in it at the end of all of our videos. Take a look at these glorious shots of ships. You can be part of this whole Fleet thing by clicking the join button down below and joining the channel, or heading on over to Patreon/Trekyards to support us on a monthly basis. You get a rank, you get a ship assigned to you. If you're a captain, you get your own ship that you can't be kicked off of. And if you become an admiral, you get a hero ship. Now, if you go for Federation Council, you can be the captain of a starbase or a space station or some other really amazing thing. So look at all the options for all of the ways to join. We'd really appreciate it. Like I said, join button down below, or Patreon/Trekyards. The same perks and ranks apply over there as well. So lots of ways to support the channel. As I mentioned a second ago, hitting that like button is also important. We have 33 likes. I want to get to 50. Should be no problem with the amount of people here right now. So please hit that like button if you haven't done so. Liking the videos is a great way to support us also. Or just simply super chat, as I was saying. Like we said, we read exactly what you type verbatim, so you can have your voice heard on the channel, read by my voice. So it's like an anime or a cartoon. You write my lines, I do the voice work. It's really great, but you get your point out there via super chat. So please consider doing that as well. And by all means, check out the links down below. Links to Teespring, TeePublic, some great Trekyards merch there. And also heading over to awayteamgear.com/Trekyards, where you guys can, as Trekyards members, get a special 15% off discount code. And you can pick up some really cool shirts and some cool merchandise over there. So, and including some Trekyard stuff. There's Trekyard glasses and a whole bunch of stuff over there. So go take a look at all the links provided down below. And by all means, help us out in all the ways that you're able to. We'd really appreciate it. But during these live streams, like I said, the super chats are the way to go. Watching an edited video or this live stream after the fact, you can send a super thanks, which is the same kind of thing. And it all means a whole lot to us. It's kind of the bread and butter that makes us go. We're like the Packlids, and you're like the people that make us go. So by all means, any way you can support us, please do so. We're thinking of adding a Strange New World Connie to this Fleet lineup, as well as possibly in the future some Klingon ships to the Fleet. So if you want to join, there you go. There's lots of options there for that. So consider doing so, is what I'm saying.
It's a Zoom Fleet strip.
Right. Say something again.
It's a Zoom Fleet shirt.
Are you on the right mic? It sounds a little tinny and echoey.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, that's right. All right. It just sounded weird when you got back. So.
It was 1 foot away, one hand foot away.
A hand foot.
Yeah, I say foot, but it's actually a hand. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, what a day, Stuart. Hey, what a day.
Right. It is a good day to do the things.
Well, obviously, I'll start with the obvious question. What, as I said yesterday, we see this in a vacuum, we review, we comment, we question, and then bosh, we see the internet's reaction. What do you think the reaction's been? What have you seen to these Klingons from this episode?
I haven't seen or heard a lot, really. I haven't been on social media that much. There's a general consensus of it's about time, and complaining helps. Yay! Kind of getting us what we needed all along. It's a pretty simple formula. Just go with what works and don't change it. Anyway, yeah, so I think people are pretty happy. I haven't looked at the comments on our video that we released earlier today, but hopefully people are enjoying it and are happy to see the Strange New Worlds Klingons falling in line with how Klingons have been forever, pretty much, except for TOS. But, that's the caveat. So.
The annoyance is that we really think this stuff through, more than most. And so we break these things down, we have these debates, conversations already. We're quite ahead of a lot of people who jump in like, oh, this and this. And we were there right at the forefront of discovery, etc., etc., etc. Hi, Mark. The sad annoyance is that you kind of have to know all of the canon to be able to justify certain things. So I severely got annoyed when I saw people on the Twitter commenting on a picture that was shared of these Klingons saying, "Where's all the TOS Klingons? The idiots, everyone's a smoothhead." And it's like that's pushing. So we fought to get real Klingons back, not to get TOS Klingons back. That was a hard fought thing. It took them 5 years to get them back, right? Besides like Lower Decks, this is a victory, an unmitigated victory, right? So to then throw it at their faces, and as you remember the singular negative voices, even if you get 10 positive, like we're being very positive, right? The one person says, "Idiots, that it should be TOS Klingons." Like, you've kind of missed the point, because we won, but you do need to see Enterprise to get, and remember Enterprise, because we always, goddamn, have to point out, no, there was not a virus that made everyone smoothheads. It's not what they said. One colony got infected. One. That is it. So one planet's people became, yes, weird. All the people from TOS are smoothheads. That is weird. But that does not represent even a substantial percentage. I would think less than 10% of the Klingons are smoothheads in this time. Less than 10%, because why would one planet move their genetic material? They wouldn't. They're pariahs, outcasts, somewhat. Oh, you had a problem with the smoothhead? Don't have babies with them. Like, there's going to be millions. It's not going to be billions. It's going to be trillions. So I find it such a silly argument to complain they aren't smoothheads when mostly all Klingons should look like this. Now, we should see one smoothhead somewhere for the lols, or a second one, but the predominant is this, and it annoys me. I assume we've seen the same thing, but it was, well, several, but it was a very small. Was it several? Because they found a torpedo that cured one planet.
I think several was mentioned, though.
I guess they're infected, but they were dying.
It'd be a large percentage, but not the entire population by any stretch of the imagination. So,
because that was the one they walked in the 3 ships and shot the planet versus they were shooting the facility. But it's a couple of colonies at most. It's not.
Yeah.
There are a lot of colonies.
Exactly. It wasn't the home planet either. That's worth pointing out.
Yeah. And even if it was Kronos, which would be very highly densely populated. Okay. Most planets aren't. It's like saying, one state in the USA, everyone became green. Okay.
Maybe 3 states. But
Maybe,
still not the entire population.
Yeah.
Some states are, like, the state of California has more people in it, in that small state, than all of Canada. So, I'm just saying.
But it wouldn't. It shouldn't be a bitch point that these aren't smoothheads. Most
no, but some people just like to bitch. So no matter what you say,
but if you haven't seen Enterprise, this is the era of TOS. There is only a single logic. But it's a pretty giant plot argument. It's there. Yeah, it's just this is a win, right? We should be very happy. And then give them bonus credit for showing a smoothhead later in the season for the lols.
Yeah, somebody that's acting suspicious turns out to be a spy. It's just like Arn Darvin from Trouble with Tribbles, Yeah, I would love that, actually.
Yeah.
They better do it. I'm sure they will. They might mention it, at least.
Because it would be nice. I mean, there'd be so many ways you could play to that. So yeah, that just annoyed me. That's what I saw a lot of. But that's the thing. When Klingons are like Klingons again, and that is no longer to complain about, well, now you're in the era-specific stuff, which it's a visual reboot, right? It doesn't look exactly right, so...
Yeah.
This is a giant win.
Do we have a year of Stardate that happened to the colonies?
Yes.
80 years at least before this.
Yeah, 2165 or 7, depending when Enterprise started.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, this is still like 100 years out, 80 years to 100 years removed from when that happened. So I mean, a lot of them probably spread it genetically a little bit. Like there was smoother headed
But the
Klingons after
problem is, you had to want to breed with them, and they would be looked at as a secondary class.
they might be exotic to some. Like ooh,
Sure, but they're not
smooth
just gonna.
head. It's like an alien.
But also, if they're all on 3 planets, they're not gonna suddenly, like 10 million go off world and breed. They're gonna breed their own kind.
Yeah.
And a few go to the academy if they're allowed in. They might not be allowed in. Like you know, they're like leper colonies that are cured. They're not necessarily then suddenly going to move to every other part of the world.
2154 is when it was.
See, I thought it was. Yeah, I didn't remember if it started at 21 or started at 24. The season.
Well, there you go. So yes,
That was a small thing that annoyed me.
Well, yeah, and it'll. No matter what, not everybody has the firm grasp of all of the canon, like you said.
Which is fair enough. It's just annoying.
Nor do they actually listen to anything we say in the fucking video. They look at the thumbnail and just comment immediately, or watch 5 minutes and then nope out, and then comment on the way out. Like that happens a lot, and that is one of my biggest frustrations. But hey, that's why these lives are here. So our people that know us and love us, they understand where we're coming from.
Yes. Pretty much. But apart from that, I think people have been very happy. The discourse doesn't need to no longer be our Klingons. They can be, what are we moving forward them with? And, you know, there's a good amount of dishonor and honor in these guys. There's a good amount of variation. I mean, I've said it's a pretty giant win. I'm not sure how you'd have made them much better. I wouldn't even particularly have enjoyed seeing like the TOS uniforms verbatim because they're not very good. Like, they're a t-shirt and a crop top, right? Like you'd have to do them different anyway. They wouldn't hold up. They never hold up in anything. They're not fan films or anime series. They do not hold up as a military uniform, right? Because they're just cheap. TOS is a bit different.
Matthew DeFreitas, member for 8 months at the rank of lieutenant, says, I theorize when Shazad Latif became Tyler, the writers initially were going for the flathead Klingon being spies to explain flatheads.
Hard to say, given they changed the plot of the season.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't know. I don't even know how to deduce that, honestly. What the plans were? They did not do them.
Anything's possible.
But of course, we've got to go back to where we started, which is the Discovery Klingons, of course. Sorry, Stuart. We do have to mention them because, you know, this is how far we've come. And
the Discovery ones, I know everybody shits on them, but honestly, they do have like the pie crust look. They got a little bit of the ridges. The only problem is they exaggerated everything else. They put like 4 nostrils. They elongated the head. They did a lot of changes that were not necessary, nor wanted, nor needed. And they made that his outfit, Takuva's there, looks like a clown outfit. Looks like Pennywise with that collar. I'm sorry. But some of the aesthetics are all right. It's just for 1 or 2 Klingons, right? But then to see all of them represented as such and not have hair, and then the very lame explanation of when we're at war, we shave our heads. Well, then you'd never see a freaking Klingon with hair because they're always at war with something or somebody. So, anyway, a little bit of devil's advocate there for the Discovery Klingons. They wanted them to look more alien, and I guess they accomplished that. But
there's a reason why the term Klingorks became synonymous. Because if you put this character in a if you brought in 50 mild Trekkies and put this character in front of them and said, what sci-fi franchise is this from? You wouldn't get Star Trek. You just wouldn't, and you would not get Klingon. Now, if you said which, no, I don't. Well, if you even said,
it does look like it's out of Mordor for sure.
Yeah, even if you said like what alien race does it look like, you might say Riemann, or something from Voyager, but you just wouldn't say Klingon. There's not enough Klingon left in there. It's a bad idea from the start. But you can imagine though, once you've invested the tens of millions potentially into designing all these unique makeups, they're full head prosthetics, and we saw in season 1 they have a drastic amount of Klingons. I mean, they can't just abandon their entire elaborate wardrobe and makeup. I mean, I probably would have, honestly. Honestly, I probably just have thrown it all away. Because I'd rather just say smooth heads then, you know? Wow, makeup going from this to just this. I'd probably just thrown it all in the trash or sold it. because it just, it's terrible. But I mean, it's such an investment, right? And now Klingons are cheap and easy. Relatively speaking.
Matt Deckard, not as cool as Kelvin Klingon.
Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, the Kelvin Klingons were not bad by comparison.
Well, they were Klingons, but like sleek. That's it, really. But they had plenty of variations in the group. You just saw the one Klingon, which is the problem.
Yeah.
If they handed the mask, it would have been fine.
Mark Lawrence, member for 40 months at the rank of Federation Council.
Crazy.
Get rid of the gigantic heads, and the new Strange New World Klingons are pretty spot on. Would love to see an oily-looking one as an homage to some of the early TNG Klingons. Another day complete. Disney World. 2 to go. Not sure if the feet will make it. Well,
Man. Yeah.
I'm sure your dogs are barking, as they say, but enjoy yourself and have fun, man. Thank you for tuning in, like taking the time out to tune into our live.
You're wonderful and we love you. So
yes. Kyle Wong throws in £5.
Good to see you.
What's happened to the JJ Klingons? Are they obsolete? I'd like to think that they're just a different continents on Kronos. They just look a little different.
Well, they did get a Kronos spelt wrong.
They did.
So
they did. Yeah, that's right.
They lived on a different planet that was not Kronos because they spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? They didn't even bother proofreading the script for the name of the... I wonder if the original script it had it wrong as well, or if just the graphics guy didn't bother to
Probably.
check.
Like, the writer didn't know how to write it, so he just sounded it out, put it down, and never got corrected.
Anyway, I mean, that's the thing about the JJ verse. It is both a stupid derivative of us, where things both line up and mostly don't. But it's alternate, right? Like, they're not from our universe, therefore there's no reason to think they connect. More stuff was different. Franken's not Prime in any way, so it's fine, But they're fine. Mm-hmm. Like, they're okay. But do read Dan's quote. I'd say comment, but his quote.
Star Trek Voyager lineage, Torres. Forehead ridges, EMH, yes. But she's only 1/4 Klingon. Klingon traits remain dominant for several generations, even with a single ancestor. Indeed.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense there'd be the Klingon genes, we are the strongest. But obviously they're being suppressed by the Ilgrim virus, so that is a different side note.
Yeah, Klingons have a lot of physical redundancies in their bodies to account for damage and stuff. So I assume their genetics would be quite strong and dominant when it comes to interspecial breeding. But Verpine, member for 3 months at the rank of ensign, says Klingons are now Klingons again. Kapla.
Yeah. And me putting this here is just to celebrate how far we've come, right? They did not show Klingons even once after season 2. Not even once. Lodex didn't care. They have warp stars still, great. This is them finally coming back to TV, and that's a giant symbol of a victory, and we should congratulate. Yeah. So this is the
they ignored the Klingons in the future when Discovery went there, and then they ignored the Klingons for season 1 of Strange New Worlds. We're talking about the return now, yeah.
So this is the graphic, and we're going through some of the graphics we made for the episode, but also some new ones, Stuart. I went even further. So this is an evolution graphic. Obviously, you were there when we recorded it, just to kind of put some context to those that say, oh, well, they always change the design. These dates are based on when they were the primary design style for the Prime timeline. So from 66 to 74, which was TOS to animated series, these were how the Klingons looked. That's what you said, that's what you thought of, boom, that's it.
Yeah.
From TMP to Star Trek 3, so those years, that's what you thought of if Mr. Gene is a Klingon. That supersedes, because that was a sort of replacement technique at that point. But that's what, if you saw any Klingon represented to be modern, that's a Klingon. Then from 84, Star Trek 3, until Discovery, because Kelvin is a side universe, these are what you think of as Klingon. That entire length of time, if comics, movies, video games, that is a Klingon. No ifs, no buts. With some fun TOS if you want to throw them in, but they're contextual to the time. That's the Klingon.
Yeah, they went to only having one eye for a long time.
Shut the hell up. I just edited that and I remember the joke from last time. Then, of course, Discovery happened, and you can see it existed for one season, seasons 1 and 2. The only reason it's over 2 years is because it was released in like October into the next New Year. So it wasn't even, it was still one season. Plus some flashbacks in season 2. That is it. That's the entire amount of years, 2 years, that these designs exist. 2 years.
Even in that, they course corrected. Like you see the second guy there, his hair looks more Klingon because they just. I know, but they at least course corrected during this the phase after that.
Yeah.
So.
And you can see instantly the difference. I mean, yes, he still has a huge prosthetic face, but the ridges are far more broken down to what you think. Not even the hair. It's clear made a new face, right? And that was for 2 years. That was the predominant Klingon, as people would not necessarily would associate, but the official Klingon vibe for 2 years. Just one season of Discovery, but it ends in Lower Decks. When they Klingons come back in, clearly the Klingons, and then now there's been no other ones to show as the primary Klingons. I mean, it's not, and we know they're the same Klingons because Michael Westmore was on TNG season 1 until Enterprise. And there's only one Klingon set before that, and Westmore bases on them, and then continued. And 3 Krug looks like Worf. There's no problem. So that is the same art design for 33 years of lineage of time.
Huh?
It's not really debatable, Stuart.
Oh. Kyle Wong was in 5 pounds. So I just had a kid baby Leia born May 4th. Do you have Trekyards baby grows in your store? Baby clothes, you mean? I don't know. I think the Teespring store might be able to get onesies and stuff. Possibly.
I think onesies I've seen. Well, can everyone congratulate Kyle Wong, a very regular member? Congratulations, that is amazing. Leia, eh? There's that great infograph when Game of Thrones came out and people started naming their child Khaleesi. Or, I have one of Selena's kids. One of my grandkids is named Khaleesi. And then it's like, spoilers, a couple years later, genocidal maniac.
Still a nice name, but yeah, one of my grandkids is named Khaleesi.
Born to kill all the people out of badness. What a twist!
Eric Martin 550. I think of Disco as kind of a Star Trek brain fart. Chuckle and move on.
Yes.
Indeed.
Easy.
That's good. And Kyle Wong again throws in 5 pounds. Do you think they can bring back Lawyer Worf in Strange New Worlds? I mean, Colonel Worf. That was who that was. In Strange New Worlds. I mean, yes, they probably could, a young one. Would they use Michael Dorn, though? Because he's old.
Yeah, having Michael Dorn play a 40-year younger Klingon while being 30 years older than we played him seems like a bad start.
There might be a mention or a reference to him.
Now,
that would be
he
fun.
could be Colonel Worf's dad, Grand Colonel Worf. So you have Commander Worf, Lieutenant Worf, General Worf, all Worfs. So here, of course, is our graphic, and we're going to expand upon this in a minute, of 5 iterations of the Westmore Klingons, all Westmore of his ilk, and then 4 from Strange New Worlds episode. And the fact that and I've got some more in the next slide as well. So there's a lot of, I mean, I was still shocked how many are threw in at us. It's a lot.
Yeah. As we talked about, the one we first see drinking blood wine against La'an was a very good close-up and looked very good. Now, if you look at the captain in that lighting on the planet, it looks very plasticky. It looks a little bit off. I mean, he looked much better on the view screen. It's just a matter of lighting. A lot of people have complained, because that was in our thumbnail, of like, ooh, look at the guy who looks so fake. And it's like, yeah, but there are other Klingons represented in that episode that look fantastic in close-ups. And this guy on the view screen with different lighting looked fantastic. So yeah, it's just a matter of the lighting in that one shot was a little off. But all the other ones look good. The other one, the one right beside him, looks sweaty and wet. Like, cool. It looks fine, right? Anyway. The Teespring store does not carry baby clothing, says Fleet Paw. Well, I don't know what to
Buy
tell
a
you.
sticker and put it on a onesie that you buy at Walmart.
Perfect. Yes.
And take a picture. The next generation.
Trekyards audience.
Well, I know that Aaron Wonke just had a kid. Yeah, Aaron.
Yes.
He has some Prodigy merch. They actually sent him and made for him. So I feel like when I have a kid, I have to do some Trekyards merch for the kid.
Yeah.
Dear.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
dear. But yeah, and like you said, the disparity here is you know, maybe the guy with plastic surgery, the Klingon captain. Maybe, I mean,
Maybe he was a smooth head and got the prosthetic replacement.
Yeah.
Hey.
God, imagine that a reveal later in the season.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be crazy, actually.
Well, not rip it off, but have like a picture of him as a smooth head when he's talking to like
Just the actor.
yeah, when he's talking to Anson Mount, and Anson Mount's like, yeah, it's a thing.
I fought you in the war, but we had no ridges then. Yes, I had surgery. I went for double D ridges.
Prosthetic ridge replacements. Which we joked about and talked about many times when we talked about Klingons.
Well,
and how that
I
might
mean,
be a
must
booming
have
industry
really
after the augment virus.
for DS9. That's kind of like they didn't retcon their look. They didn't show them in TOS. They, you know, that was them after that much time. But yeah, the guy at the bar is superb. And I don't imagine it's just because they didn't have as much time on the Klingon captain. He was in more sequences.
Yeah.
It's just person, you know, and we're filming these things in 4K, ultra amazing, whatever. So maybe that guy's skin just wasn't quite as perfectly attuned for taking makeup as other people. You know?
Yeah. My concern with the captain is it looks like the prosthetics go down onto his face, which most of the Klingons is just the forehead. And that's one of the things we didn't like with the Discovery Klingons was it was like full face prosthetics, which made it very difficult for them to talk. Hence Kalish with their mouth full of marshmallows.
Look, Chikuvama, I have had to tell you, you must fight the Torchbearer and kill him via a Starfleet officer. Forgive!
Oh, wipe off your mic. Yeah, I was going to say, that's a little...
But that's what it was! I'm not even joking.
Yeah, it was hard for them to speak with all that shit on.
I
So.
felt they were alien, sure. That's not good.
That's good. See, that's the entertainment you come here for
Yes.
in these lives.
5 years, Stuart, of Kailash. 6 years of Kailash.
Skeleton's Strange New Worlds #1 fan throws in $5.
Oh.
Am I the only Trek fan who suspects Chancellor Gorkon was purposely designed to look like Klingon Abraham Lincoln? No, because he absolutely was designed to look like that. That's what the whole shape of the beard, everything. Uniting the Klingons and the... Yeah, that's exactly what he was designed to look like. They actually deliberately did that. So.
Well, and there's a great deleted scene from the movie. He has a Klingon top hat. It's got spikes on it, and it kind of like conforms to the head. There's like a knife you can pull out. It was a whole thing. Didn't make it in there. I'm joking!
I thought you were legit for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It seems like a joke.
But
Anyway, moving on.
But I acted it well.
People trust us when we say things like that. You need to caveat that shit with. Just joking.
I feel like I acted that quite well. Just trying to keep my composure there.
I think you did too. Vero Victus throws in $2. Hate 'em. Orange and rubbery. Want STD season 2 shades. Really? There's only one there that looks orange and rubbery, and like I said, he looked fantastic on the view screen. It's the lighting.
Yeah, it's variable. And we're going to see some more here, and it's sad the one that you think of is like the least one, but there's really good ones in there.
Yeah. And Fleetpaw throws in $5. Thank you so much, Fleetpaw. Never fear, your favorite mod is here. TeePublic has the baby clothing, though, for who...
Perfect.
Well, the person that was asking was Kyle Wong. So Kyle Wong, go to the TeePublic store link down below.
Excellent.
And get yourself some baby clothing.
That's a
Trekyards baby merch, and we want to see pictures posted on the Facebook page.
Gosh. This baby sponsored by Trekyards.
Was it conceived while watching Trek? That's what I want to know.
That's not a question for you.
We've been around long enough.
I mean, he could answer.
Matthew Lebner. Matthew Lebner throws in $20.
Oh.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Just saying a quick hello. Got patrol duty on the frontier. Requisitioned a black jacket like your captain. Thanks for sharing yesterday. Commander got you a little closer to your goal today. Early birthday gift.
Oh, sweet.
Beautimus. Thank you, Matthew Lebner.
He doesn't tell me when I get donations, so let me go check. Just check back periodically. Oh, superb.
Nice.
Let's have a gander. Hasn't missed yet. That's okay.
Vero Viren Victus says, all of them look orange and rubbery. Give me grays and whites back, is what I'm saying.
Oh. Oh, so you want the Discovery style where you have all of the shades. I assume. Oh, I don't know.
Gotcha.
There's a... I mean, count the number of white Klingons in... Right? It's okay. They're all allowed to be not white. It's fine. Actually, has any Asian actors ever played a Klingon?
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
can't think of any.
The captain, though, he's white.
No. White-skinned Klingon. Of course, white actors have played a Klingon, but the race is that means any actually white-skinned Klingons. I just thought if any Asian actors played a Klingon, because I can't think of... At least men. I think maybe a woman's played one, but I can't think of a man. Because not every face shape works, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a look they're going for. That's okay. It's like some people that tell with a bald head. They might not be good Bolian choices. Like, you could have... It's like Andorians. You could have bright yellow Andorians. You could. Do I want to see them? No. Would I encourage them? No.
Trekyards says Undiscovered Country has an Asian Klingon actor? Question marks. I don't know. Wasn't the guy who played Kang Asian in TOS? No, he might have been part Asian. By his look,
like
but...
Chinese, Korean, that style of Asian. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, should have clarified. Not Indian Asian. Actually, Chinese, Korean.
Oh yes. Well, that's what an Asian is.
Believe me, in the UK, I've been told off. No, anyone from Asia. It's like including Indians.
No.
It's like,
well,
they're all from Asia. So they're all Asians.
gotcha.
Yeah.
But you can't say Orientals because that's wrong as well. So,
Yes.
Whatever. We're just trying to. Moving on.
I don't think so. I'm scouring his personal guard. I don't think so. It'd be interesting though. But I'd love to see how it looks to the makeup. Because yeah, they all bring different vibes, right?
Yeah. Eric Martin, 550. Have to go back to work. Thanks, guys. The Takuva impression was worth the price of admission. My ribs still hurt. I'll get back to work, man. Thanks for joining us.
You need to heal his ribs because soon the kid's going to be jumping all over them and just rest them. Yeah, congrats.
That's the wrong person. Eric Martin doesn't have a kid.
Oh. Could have had a kid.
87 people here, 64 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up. Let's try to get to 80 likes. Very doable at this point.
This might seem like an odd question, right? And this is to everyone in the chat. Of this graphic, because we've got some pretty different vibes, which I like. I've tried to do a broad spectrum here of vibes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one looks the most stereotypically Klingon?
Well, I think the next picture is probably better for that.
Well, I know. I want to see what people say first, and then we're going to bring more in, because I up the sample size. Because there's a good sample size here. Because we've got different eras of Klingon, different vibes. Who would you say looks the most Klingon-y as you default?
For me, probably B'Etor, actually.
Which one's that? On the right?
The one on the left.
On the left? Okay.
The kind of like the ridge around. It includes like...
Wait, you want a ridge around?
Pie crust look, as well as... I don't want a ridge... Shut the fuck up. It's got that, and it's also got the ridges as well, so it kind of incorporates both.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Or Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the middle there, with the like. Although the coloration on that's really weird.
And that's pre-augment.
Yeah, and that's also he's old. Like he's got gray hair, so maybe the ridges kind of change color as well when they get older.
Maybe he had a reverse tan.
Perfect.
That's how Klingons tan.
Maybe it's like anal bleaching. He bleaches his ridges.
Blanal. No, Rainal. Originally.
Come on, guys. You gotta appreciate the humor we got here.
See, it's interesting because my default would have been Martok because you've got all the elements, but you've said all that, and maybe think a bit more. If we're going super classic, I might actually say the Klingon captain from Strange New Worlds, just a slightly thinner head. Because his ridges are very classic, very simple, because ridges aren't often the most overcomplicated, and he's got the hair like you associate.
Mm-hmm.
Just got a big face.
Yeah, he's the most Worf-like, I think, as far as the ridges go, maybe. And that might be why you're thinking that. Well, that's why you don't have Worf here as well, because that's like the one we've known the most of, so...
It's an important why not to include him, because, you know, he acts... That's the great... Worf's the most Klingon while never actually being with any Klingons. Because he's acting a Klingon. Yeah. It's a funny old thing. But yeah, so now into the new graphics I put together for this live. I'm a bit extreme, but I wanted to kind of delve into it more. So this is a spectrum of Klingons, to which I have now added 3 new Klingons to the Strange New Worlds batch, because, let's be honest, there were some similarities in design. Here is the guy who Dr. Man Mbenga is healing, and 2 random fight extras, because they're likely to be less quality makeup and stunt people, and I wanted to compare. On the top, I went for a large spectrum, but this is now in time order of real time, from the earliest Klingon makeup to the latest Klingon makeup, to show how it evolves through technology, iteration, budget. You know, movie, TV, hero TV, movie, TV, TV show. And you also have, you know, eras as well, to a certain extent. So, pretty broad spectrum, I think, here. What stands out to you? Because there's a lot to look at here.
Some full mustaches, which we talked about in our other video. Some Klingons have wondering if that was something that they couldn't grow a full mustache, but apparently they can. Anyway.
But that is also just the Strange New Worlds.
The stunt people.
In fairness.
No, and Krug, Star Trek 3.
Well, it's missing a little bit. I wouldn't call that a full one. It's a little bit.
Yeah. No, it starts in the middle. He just has it like... Anyway. Even Uncle Phil looks more close. Anyway. Regardless. I think the stunt guys are the odd ones out here because, yeah, those are made for stunts. Those aren't like hero close-up ones. Background, they're a lot smoother. Looks like they wouldn't hurt anybody. It wouldn't like affect anything as far as the performance goes. Maybe they're padded in case they bump their heads. I don't know. Something about them looks off.
Oh, I like that.
They're not very
all
rigid.
Headbutts.
Yeah.
That's great.
The one another odd one is the one that Mbenga was healing on the third from the left at the bottom, or from the right at the bottom there. Just the middle one, because there's only... Never mind. The middle one on the bottom. He's got weird ridges. I'm just saying.
Pretty bold.
But he's also got a mohawk. Or like that.
Yeah. But I love this, because they're all undeniably Klingon. Not even a hesitation, right?
Yeah.
They all fit the natural bar, and yet that is, 14 different Klingons.
Yeah.
Are they ever going to run out of head-up shapes? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. Hopefully not.
Fleet Paw throws in $2. Say as Gowron. Duras.
What do you think?
Duras. But
Ooh.
not today.
Method of Fritas. Worf had the full mustache in Picard. He didn't. It looked like he did. Oh no, it's this bit wasn't connected. You don't have the full goatee.
I would need to see a picture. I forget.
Yeah, his goatee wasn't connected. But he did have a full mustache.
all of drab. He pities the Patak. What is he, Mr. T?
Guess so.
I pity the Patak. Yeah, that's funny.
Yes.
Todd Walker, $2. I like the Mr. T Klingon in the bottom middle pick.
There we go. That, well, yeah. It's not wrong. But it is interesting though when you put those top 7 Klingons, they're all different. Do they have any similarities? Actually. I think they're all distinct designs.
Yeah, I would say so. The Duras, like, Pie Ridge, though, is, like, quite recognizable.
Yeah, and he definitely, that's a shared one by his sister, but that they do that as part of the lineage of the Durases. That's an intentional thing.
Yeah, and they try to keep the same look for, even Alexander had ones very similar to the Worf. Like,
yeah, which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's quite nice,
yeah.
actually. And it is interesting because, you know, you look at the two first Klingons, Krug and Guy from TNG, pretty subtle.
Yeah.
I mean, Krug is an example of that move. There are several. But going from TMP Klingons, the giant, even nose is bigger, like that, to really subtle. I mean, talk about, we went too far, let's go back more to TOS Klingons. I mean, that's pretty gentle, I'll say. Especially when you compare to some people later on, like, who have big, elaborate designs. Or at least, they sort of take over the head. His is almost like, I've got a weird forehead versus, I'm a Klingon. Like, there's that line that he isn't quite about to cross.
Kyle Wong throws in £5. Is Curzon Dax around in this timeline? Would like to see Dax deal with the Klingons.
Yeah. He might not be a joined trill yet, but he is around. Yeah. Because Curzon knew Kirk, but Kirk is in like 6 years, so I don't know.
And Eric Martin's still here. Didn't go back to work. And says, I love Krug. Bridge, nothing happening here. After killing a big, like, worm that was wrapping itself around his body. Digging his fingers into it. Yeah, like.
What a guy. You go from Back to the Future to Star Trek 3. That's a range. I mean...
And yet, each of his vehicles was travels through time.
Well, he had died at that point.
He had, but it's still his vehicle.
Yeah. And ended up saving the Federation too with the cloak. It's a crew, man. He helps with the Federation in a way from there. And actually, interestingly, the Mr. T Klingon chap.
Yes.
Quite similar to Worf, just with the side pieces being taken to a full extreme, I would say, actually.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments section, where is it here? So he looks like a Shar-Pei. Too many wrinkles. Yeah, very much so. Eric Martin, who is still here, throws in $5.50.
Ooh.
Says, I wonder if Klingons inherit a ridge style, kind of like male baldness. Yes, we've kind of already talked about that. Alexander's is very similar to Worf's. You kind of see and the Duras is a very...
All the Durases, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. It's a nice,
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I remember Michael Westmore said they had a bin of these, and whichever one fit best. Except unless it was with logic, and then, do you fit your brother's one? Yay, you're a Duras. Etc. Yeah. But these were all actually hero characters, which is interesting, versus just extras, as in of the top line. So they were allowed to make new ones, and obviously, once they have the mold to make, say, Gorkon's one, they could use that later for background extra, because they've got the mold. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they ripped off and destroyed each use, but they had a mold they could pour more in and make more, right?
Yeah. Starbase Sci-Fi 1 throws in £5.
Thank you.
Gowron, glory to you and your house. Hey, Captain and Commander. Worf, Gorkon, and Martog. Best 3 Klingon makeups. Worf, Gorkon, and Martog. Okay.
Well, they're definitely consistenter. That's what I'm going to say.
That's a word.
I do love Gorkons, though. It's so understated, but so Klingon. They're like, how removed can we make a Klingon and still be a Klingon? Because he's very... I mean, he is David Warner, a bit of makeup, right? Like,
yeah.
It's really, really him. Same with Chang. They're very much them forward.
And Cosmos says, weird that you didn't include General Chang. His ridges are very little. They are. It's almost like earlier in his lineage, somebody had the augment virus. And it's very slowly kind of, like one or two generations to get to him. And it's like, yeah.
As you can tell,
well,
I ran out of space. Because making them any smaller would not be worth seeing. Because you've got to see them, guys. I can't just keep throwing people in. I want to compare to Stranger Worlds. So that was why I stopped. Ran out of space. But it is interesting. I mean, what would you rate the two stunt double guys, Klingon vibe wise, like out of 10 for each? Because they are pretty different.
See, the one on the far right, if you go back a picture as well, the female that we see in this episode, they have the one on the far right and the female. Their heads look more like, instead of like spinal cords or like vertebrae, they appear more like turtle shells. She's got more like a turtle shell kind of appearance.
Yeah. Yeah.
More like a leather shelled sea turtle. Like it's a softer shell, it seems like. But again, background stunt person. So they don't vibe very Klingon to me. The only thing that does is the facial hair and the eyebrows. At least for the far right. The one on the left appears to have no facial hair at all, even eyebrows.
Well, he's always an internal war, Stuart, so he has to every morning, yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting with... Yeah, I got you.
He's got an alcohol addiction.
Ooh,
every
Bird
day.
of Prey 5 is here. Kapla!
Oh my god.
Fleet Paw. Good to see you, Bird of Prey 5. Glad you could make it for our Klingon discussion. Please chime in with your thoughts.
Yes, let us know what you think. You have more to say than some.
You would hope.
Well, Yeah, for me, I think the casting of the guy on the right is really good. His face part is really Klingon-y. I think that was great.
Which one?
On the furthest right from Stranger Worlds.
Oh.
Like, this is very Viking face. Like, good for him.
Yeah.
Looks like a fighter. Guy on the left, not so much. I'll be honest. Just more of the runaway kind of Klingon. But it is interesting because it does change the theme. In fact, the being healed Klingon and the left of the two stunt guys, they are quite similar, these elements, but the stunt guys' ridges are far lower.
Mm.
And then the first two guys, they're much closer to the star as well. It's interesting. They've interesting. But I don't innately dislike the guy on the right, Stranger Worlds guy, but that could be an alien race. It really could.
Yeah.
If you took away the facial hair. Also, why is there a slit down the middle? That looks like that doesn't feel right to me. It's like a hole in the makeup. They should have put a ridge there, personally, I would have said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Hypnomember says the technology for prosthetics has advanced, so why do these ones look so thick and wrong?
And that's a great question. This is why I put in time order. 19 Star Trek 3 Klingons. They all look great. Every single one of them looks really good makeup. Maybe not the TNG guys so much. It's a little bit more plasticky.
Yeah, plus you can see where the makeup was put on, and then it just gets like down. It doesn't quite go down. It's right.
That looks like a makeup. I mean, Worf is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Martok is phenomenal. Duras guy is very full on.
And that actor for the second one, beside Krug, there, he's been in everything. He was in the original Battlestar Galactica. He was in A-Team. He always plays a bad guy.
Well, he's Admiral Forrest. He's not a bad guy in Enterprise.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he's like 6. He's also the Romulan in the first season of Voyager, the Time Romulan. Such a good episode.
Oh, that's fantastic, yes.
That's a highlight, I think. Real sad.
Cosmos says the Klingon with the slit had open brain surgery. That is why this is... Yeah, they just cut and they use clamps that pull it apart, work on the brain. Yeah.
I don't like that. But the issue about the makeup is that, yes, when TNG went HD, the sins were being revealed. Turns out, not a lot of sins. For the most part, Michael Dorn, Michael Westmore really tried. I mean, he's seeing it in person. If he's not happy, it won't go through. But mistakes happen, right? For the most part, it's very, very solid. Shockingly solid, considering it didn't need to be. But now they're looking at filming in 4K and releasing in 4K. Actually, the first 4K release in TV show was Stranger Worlds. In theory, it has to be infinitely more detailed. And yet, I didn't feel that when watching it. That said, we did compliment the left one saying he just looks pitch perfect. But I mean, I would say Michael Dorn looks basically pitch perfect in TNG.
Another thing I want to say is, that we haven't really talked about, is the teeth. I noticed the teeth in Strange New Worlds were very good. They were very, like, very dirty, first of all, and very rough. So I love that they continued that over. You see some of them here, like Admiral Forrest with the perfect teeth, and the Klingon captain has pretty good teeth. It's and then sometimes you see the top teeth are done very well; they're jagged, but the bottom teeth are perfectly fine. At least Strange New World's got the teeth right. The first one we see, Drinking with La'an, has very jagged teeth, very dirty. It looks really good, and that's like the close-up Klingon that we get. So, Bird of Prey 5 throws in $2. The new Klingons vastly improved since Disco. All okay. There you go. The Bird of Prey has spoken. Tim Russ played a Klingon also. I believe so, but I can't remember when or in what. Drab says Strange New World is doing a good job of smoothing over the disco styling excesses. They should also unface prosthetic the Andorians. They still need it, and we see too few as it is. Yeah, the addition of prosthetics on the face, that's one of the big things that Discovery fucked up on the Klingons. And I'm not sure how much that applies to the Klingon captain here that we got in this episode, because it does seem like he's got prosthetics all the way down to his cheeks. That's not really necessary for Klingon makeup, and I think that's one of the things that kind of ruins Klingons. That's maybe why he looks so odd in this picture that a lot of people are complaining about. But again, I could be wrong. 72 of you here, 78 likes. That's awesome, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd like to get to 100 likes. So if you're one of the people that has not hit like yet, please do so. Keep the super chats coming. You guys are doing great. Really getting your voice out there and talking about what you like or dislike about the Klingons. We want to hear that. So please super chat in.
Thoughts, questions, comments. But yeah, let's look at some other stuff I put together. So wonderfully, since our episode, we were going to do a video on this, but here's the live version. The concept that the art team, to which I will find the name of the person, released a video which included some very freeze-frameable bits of art, which I so freeze-framed and brought to you all today. And this is by Bernadette Croft. Go check her out on the Instagram. And I mean, thank you for posting this stuff. This stuff's golden. Well, yeah. Literally. And this is 3 of her stills. I mean, yeah, I just zoomed in, but this is the Klingon concept art plus their logical things.
Yeah. And Hypno Amber says, can we see a picture of the Klingon captain without makeup? I do agree they made him made up his cheeks. That'll be the next picture we see. You see him getting fitted for his uniform, and you do see him without the makeup. So just hold your horses, Hypno Amber. Yes, I love the concept art. I love the tie-in, the colors, and even the 2 little whatever they are, like medallions, have been moved up. Those translated well to Next Generation as well, because they did move up onto the collar. So they've maintained that here. They've also got the gold color and the sash being more fabric-like instead of metal with like the little fringes. Really translates well here. It's a nice combination. It's a good melding between TOS and the TNG or the Star Trek 3 Klingon armor we see. It's got the gold color and some of the fabric look from the TOS married with the actual like crew uniform that kind of becomes a standard Klingon uniform. So I think they did a really great job with that. I would have liked to see more of their disruptors though. Maybe we'll see those later.
But I mean, you can see one here. That looks like a Klingon disruptor skirt.
It does.
That looks. I mean, I'd be kind of shocked if it's that similar as this implies. But I mean, hey, the uniform's pretty fine. What it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the caveat of this chap is he's a captain, clearly ordained.
Yes.
In captaininess, so he's allowed to be a bit more fancy. I do think that the proportions on this concept art feel better than the still of the guy from the show. It feels so big on him that he feels not very armory. He feels more like a dress uniform. This chap feels more in proportion than the concept art, so it feels more like an armor.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but that difference in size, I think, makes a difference to me. Because I was going to say it looks like reasonably functional armor. But I wouldn't have said that in the show so much. It's subtle, but what do you think?
I agree with you. I really do. He could have put on his Sunday best to go meet Spock, though, honestly. But I think it's just one is a drawing, the other is brought to fruition, which we actually see the process.
So it's not the same actor either, just to note. Clearly not the same guy. But no, I mean, the fact that, this is not the rocket science when it comes to designing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. As they said, use these elements that we like, nick them, because that, you're not nicking, that is the canon. Those are the visuals that they used for a long time. And, we the fans love then seeing the belt, etc., because that's just a belt they use. There's no rocket science. It was introduced at some point and it maintained for a certain amount of time. Brilliant.
But they added gold to it to tie it into TOS a little bit.
Yeah. I wouldn't have even necessarily said, personally, that TOS had gold. I was thought of it as more of a light coppery silver. It doesn't read gold to me. This is gold. It's ornate.
It reads like patinaed gold, like a gold that's not quite shiny to me.
Sure. A dull metal. Just chainmail, right? So I was just a futuristic chainmail. So it's interesting to see like full gold. I would like to see. I'm assuming there'll be a version of this for the standard officers, which is a metal color. I'd assume it would kind of help to bring it all together. We do see two guys in the episode with gold. Black was first officer as well. But no, and it's Klingon, right? It reads as Klingon, but it's actually quite redesigned. This is not the classic armor, but it kind of is. This is how you do a redesign. It's not even a visual update. It is a redesign, but it's a redesign using the inspirements of all of the designs. That's great. It's a win, right?
Yeah. If you go to the next picture, you can see them fitting the uniform. I guess you can't really see the actor's face. He's got a mask on, but that's okay. But here you get here you see the sash. You see the sash looks fabric. The tassels look like fabric. It's not metal. And that's a nice tie-in as well, which I really appreciate. Yeah, this is actually pretty impressive.
A big old chest piece. My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes him look bulky. Honestly, a bit fat. Like, it pushes out so far. But I mean, he's imposing. Gosh, what man painting and such.
It's really impressive seeing the process and the weathering that they do on to make it look. I wonder how long the fitting would take to get that on.
Because it can't be brand new armor. Like, they're all going to be worn to some extent. So what's the right amount of weathering? But he's got the right knife as well.
Yep.
Why wouldn't he, right? Well, it's worth noting that in the concept art, they did not have the belt. It was a half a belt of pops of circles. Here they just did it fully. Good for them.
Well, the concept art's the same number. It's just it's smaller and it's slid over to one side instead of being centered.
Yeah. So it feels like a half a belt. Here it's it feels like it does from the show.
Yeah.
I'm still not the biggest fan of the arm piece. I'd have made them more subtle personally. They're a bit added on, less functional feeling, but I mean, still cool.
Yeah.
Like
that's one thing that. Yeah, the gauntlets weren't something that existed in TOS. As far as I recall, they had a belt buckle very similar, but it was basically just it was packing material, three bubble wrap things. It kind of looked like shit, and then they translated that into when Next Generation or Star Trek 3, I guess should say, happened. They translated that look into this belt buckle, kind of like this, which is
fun.
Ow. Huh. No, sorry, I just went to the next picture and you actually see the belt buckle I was talking about. the TOS one. They've maintained that shape. And I didn't even realize that the new Klingon armor had different shape. It's gone.
Wait, which new?
The TNG.
That's not new. That's 30 years old.
Star Trek, you know what I mean, though. Star Trek 3 and all the
that.
ones that came afterwards. So the new one maintains the TOS look. I didn't even realize that it had changed for the other ones, but wow.
Man, that belt is pure garbage for TOS.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
But I always thought it was close to what we see in the other versions. See, I mean, it's a unified look. I'll give them that. But it's just a black polo shirt with some fake metal on it, and at least the sash is a good play. But I mean, this deserves. I wish the arm was in silver. Sorry, a dark, like the same color palette as TNG. That I think would be like, I want to see a variant of that, like a less formal. But I mean, that doesn't deserve giant credit for a great. There you go. You know, the pictures tell you the story. Well, we made Klingon armor. Yes, you did. Like it's
good job.
Yeah. They do have gauntlets, obviously, in the TNG. We're obviously missing the fur because fur's later. Oh.
Yeah, it's a nice marrying of both.
It's both and yet neither.
Yeah, it's a good intermittent step.
Despite being before
TOS. Yeah, I know.
I really want to see a standard version in the two-tone black and silver without the giant absurdly long this. That I think would be really interesting.
Yeah, those neck or the collar should have been halved at least as far as height goes on the final one.
And how do you think now, comparing concept art to Guy, put them side by side, the translation?
Pretty decent, honestly. The main thing that I see that's wrong is the collar. But aside from that, and also the pants. The pants aren't as detailed.
Yeah.
Pants are just regular pants.
They gave up on the giant, complicated pants.
Yeah, they did. But everything else definitely translates, and it worked really well. They did a good job of emulating the concept art.
It makes you appreciate when they actually follow the concept art that's been approved versus the Strange Worlds Enterprise, where they say, "Oh, just change this." It's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you do? When I look at this, I'm actually kind of intrigued by the subtlety of the differences. One thing they did in the original concept art, the armor all clearly one piece. It's a giant, body armor suit, so that the tendrils are kind of the spider pattern going up through it. But they changed that for the current version. They made it distinctly the shoulder pads a la TNG, which is not how it vibes. And because of that, I mean, it's easy to make, right? 3 pieces versus 1 giant piece of armor. Great choice. By doing that, they don't connect the threads, which changes the vibe, but also makes it more TNG feeling, because the first one is more samurai, the one that's more TNG. But for some reason, the armor, the concept art, all of the tendrils are going up. The final, they're all going down. I guess more like ridges, maybe? Because that might be what they're going for, actually, now I've said it. Huh.
I think it's supposed to emulate like a rib cage.
Ooh,
like a stylized cage. That being said, Klingons have honeycomb-shaped rib cages, according to the medical reference.
They have to be ridges. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to base their arm on whatever. Such a good job. Such a good job.
I mean, the ridges kind of match his head ridges.
The ridges are great, yeah. A very different skin tone. He ain't purple.
Yeah.
And again, the guy's thinner, so I think it just fits different. But I mean, that's just great. But I would love to see a fan cosplay, like make this design out of the materials of the TNG one. See how it would translate, because obviously different fabrics, right? Excellent. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know what you guys are thinking of this costuming and the tie-ins with TOS. And what came after?
Skeleton, no, they post on their Instagram. I'm just very careful to look and try and find anything I can if people post anything. Moo-ha-ha. Anything I can find.
The evilness of Trekyards.
Wow. which is really useful for things like this. Because this is stuff we want,
Indeed.
right? This is stuff we want. This is stuff we need.
Crave it. Like battle. Anyhow. No, I'm really hoping we see more Klingons and Klingon-like things in this season of Strange New Worlds. I'm sure we will. I'm sure this captain's going to be a returning character. I want to see the interiors of a Klingon ship. I want to see the bridge. I want to see the disruptors. There's a lot of things I want to see and see how well they match the aesthetic. So yeah, hopefully we will see more of them. Miguel, though, throws in $5. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Another Klingon woman with lines in last week's Strange New Worlds at 24:05 was also 100% a TNG Klingon. New Trek is finally doing right by the Klingons. Yes, the female that La'an talks to get the meeting that she needs. Very much like we talked about her ridge design being very tortoise-like or turtle-like. So,
but I mean, there's so many Klingons.
Yeah.
You know, hard to compare what they're all TNG Klingons to me, which is a bit more rubbery. And it is funny though that the materials they're using now look slightly worse than materials from older year. But I know that like some actors had constant rashes and burns. Sometimes like it hurt them. Michael Dorn had, he had acne for years because of it, because he was doing it for years.
Yeah. Well, they modified things as they went. It got easier.
Yeah.
They came up with new glues and things like that.
But I mean, they literally are sticking. Because remember, guys, a lot of those days on set, it was boilingly hot. In uniforms, he's standing. He's got
for 14 to 16 hours sometimes.
He's got stuff on his head which is also hot. Rubber is hot, and it has to not sweat and come off because those things never came off. So ow. I assume he had to be bald for all those years. He had to shave his head. I assumed. I don't remember.
Not sure. I've seen a lot of interviews and stuff with the cast during TNG, and he had hair. They could put a bald cap on, I guess, but it would be probably easier to just apply it to the skin. That's why I think he shaved his head near the end of the run, but not at the beginning, I don't think.
Because I would imagine that any interview could be a month after, right? It doesn't need to be during.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. It's like Doug Jones. He shaves his head before going into each season, and then grows his hair back out when they're done filming. So.
Because I've got a picture of here from Star Trek 5, and it's kind of impossible to tell, honestly. Obviously, he's wearing a full cap anyway, because it's fake hair.
Yeah. But
also, you can have very short hair. I mean, how quick can you go from bald to short hair, right? But yeah, I assume he had probably some hair, just as short as they can make it, I guess.
Fleetpaw Swiftback throws in $5. My only complaint is the Klingon captain's detach, his knife, needs a sheath holster thing. Looks very odd just having it pinned to his uniform like that. It is in a sheath. It's got a back part to it. And the tip has like a thing to slide into. It is in a sheath.
He's a fan of just the tip, and so many of our fans. And in fairness, right, it sounds ridiculous, but there's something very Klingon about having two blades out. There's something kind of Klingon-y about that. It's not a smart idea, but there's something a little bit Klingon-y about that.
Well, to be fair, when we first saw that knife in Star Trek 3, those blades are in when it's not being used. Pull it up. They come out, and then you attack with it.
Yeah,
so having them like that...
The guy just has it out because he's playing, because he's in the makeup test.
Or that's, I think, become the standard, though, that they're out all the time now, which... It's kind of like the articulation on like the Ferengi Marauder. Originally, it had all this articulation, and then it broke. So, but the first time we do see that knife or on screen, the tines are in, and he like puts them out and then stabs. So,
yeah.
Just saying, doesn't mean anything, but
no, it's bonus logic, and it's a fun moment of oh no, 3 knives. Much worse than the one giant stab
3 pointy things.
Yes.
All right.
Is that quicker?
We are at 89 likes. We're still not at the 100 that I asked for.
there's a poll.
Another 11 likes. And that's very doable. You guys can do it. I have much faith in you and your house.
No, Stuart, you've got to extend it even further.
Your house.
To you.
Glory to you.
And your house.
Damn.
Imagine saying Kailash and house. Just you keep just.
The House of Kalis. You sound exactly like the Discovery Klingons. You're doing a great job.
I've been here for a long time, Stuart.
Nobody can understand a fucking thing you're saying. It's
I know.
perfect.
I asked you guys, Strange Worlds Klingons, are they close enough to the classic TNG Klingons, or could they be a little closer? Which at this point, at technicality, I feel like 76%. Pretty great. They work. Stonking win on that. 17%. Not quite enough. 4% best Klingon makeup ever, and 3% I don't like him.
That's like one person.
One,
Maybe two.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
Brilliant. Great. Ooh, okay. Controversial right now.
All right. 8 more likes, guys. Get to 100. Hit that like button if you haven't. And if you're just joining us, if you want to super chat in, we do read them all. So please consider that if you want to get your point out there. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining us. The honor has returned to Trekyards today. All right. Does anybody have any other comments about Klingons that you want to talk about? Somebody mentioned Chang and his like minimal ridges, which is great. Love the variation in the Klingons, actually. And yes, we understand that during TOS they should be smooth-headed. But should they really, though? Some of them maybe. But if we don't get a smooth-headed Klingon this season, I'm going to be a little upset. But considering we got them back, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Well, that's the payoff, isn't it? That they meet a character in episode 6, and he works them as a trader, and then he's just a smooth-head Klingon, and the clue being he's got some facial hair, and they're like, oh damn, I forgot they're smooth heads. You know, you could do a really fun payoff for that, or just you see an armada, and there's one ship in the back, it's got a little dunce cap. That's a smooth head armada. There's loads of ways you could play it. But Stuart, read out the poll and vote now if ever hold your vote.
Oh my goodness, we got a new poll, guys. We got a new poll. Are the Discovery Season 1 Klingons a legitimate Klingon design? No. They're too different. Yes, variations in a species. They're okay. Matt, don't care. Perfect.
Worth pointing out.
Matthew DeFried, it's $5.
Oh,
sorry. I just want to see one Klingon pull off his ridges like a wig, calling back to Enterprise. This thing's so hot.
Well, I'm still have 2 pays. Ridge pays. Yeah.
Ridge enhancement devices for men. Renata says, I thought I saw a smooth-head background in this episode. Possibly. There was a lot of people at the mining colony. They could have thrown in one smooth-headed Klingon and we wouldn't have noticed because there was like a lot of other species there as well. So
yeah, and the issue, of course, being is that there was actually, they say, a human contingent that are working with it. So, you know, what's the difference between a human with a beard and a smooth-headed Klingon? Exteriorly wise, not really much to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's our Klingon debate, Stuart. We are, you know, a couple of 10s from our would be nice. Whatever. So, you know, any thoughts you have? Anything you want to talk about, Stuart? Extra we can talk about. That's a good old Klingon debate I had.
It is, yeah. I don't have anything else specifically that I want to talk about, except for speculation of what's coming later this season with the Klingons. I like your idea. They meet somebody, kind of works for them, helps them out. Turns out he turns on them because he is in fact a Klingon agent, which is unrecognizable because he doesn't have ridges. Perfect. It would throw off all the new Star Trek fans that don't understand that.
Yeah.
So that would work. But then we're gonna get comments going, what?
They don't like Klingons. Oh, but they had Tyler Vokken in season 1, so they've already set the precedent of you can.
Yeah, but they crunched him. They cut bones. They like.
Yeah, but they learned since then, Stuart. Version 2.
Gotcha.
Less destruction of your second penis. How did Burnham not know?
Because they don't have two penises.
Well, that one guy did, yeah. Was that joke that he's the equivalent of the people that get their tongues split in half?
Yeah.
Two
Split,
tongues?
Yeah.
Yeah. They both work.
Or like I said, he has a piercing. He didn't have his piercing in it. Just two streams. It's fine.
We should never connect streams. That guy's
yeah. Miguel throws in $5. It says, do we think that we'll encounter anyone from the House of Duras or Moog on Strange New Worlds? Yes. I absolutely think that they will mention them. Or at least, or maybe even have somebody that's directly linked to them. Yes, I believe so.
Well, it depends on the timescale you're asking, right? They earned themselves respect from season 1 being relatively fresh, except the Gorn. Well, I guess you could argue they're being fresh and throwing away the Gorn. Season 2, they've already introduced... Well, and Romans. They did Romans. Season 2, already in Klingons. We're going to do Gorn, we know. So that's a lot of the canon we're using.
To be fair, they fucked up the Romulans. The Romulans should look like Vulcans.
They're from the north.
No head ridges, please. Especially on that captain specifically. Other ones I don't mind.
Yeah, it's hard with that guy because we literally see him. Yeah, it's hard to argue that. Not even alternate timeline. It's a same timeline forward a bit. No, the
family just lived in the northern regions, I guess, at that point. I don't know.
Maybe he's going to stag do that weekend versus the other weekend he had to get the work done. You know.
Perfect.
I think they feels like they're slowly earning that, because if they had season 1 of Stranger Worlds and boom Klingons, boom Romans, boom, it'd feel weird, right? They're doing their own thing, but now they can bring stuff in, which is great. So I think Duras is the obvious one. Moog seems a little more careful with that. Duras is more logical, but then do you play it literally he's a bad guy, or do you play it the reverse? He's a good Duras, and he's a good guy, which would be only work for those who've seen the Treks, obviously. But, Kembra, House of Duras, you are now the most honoured among us for slaying all of the Gorn. Because you could see, I could see the Klingons being brought in to help against the Gorn.
Yeah.
That, I think, feels thematically right.
Yep.
Doesn't help TS at all, obviously, but...
Well, see, this almost seems like an apology for Discovery, but also an apology for... By the way, the Gorns, we've already said that we just want to do our own thing, so screw the Gorn. Now, somebody had pointed out earlier in the chat, if we don't see an adult Gorn that looks like a Gorn, they're going to give up on Strange New Worlds. I see the point there. I want some explanation for the weird Gorns. I don't think we're going to get it necessarily, but if they were smart, they would have something. Because they've got so much goodwill with a lot of the stuff they're doing that just seems like a huge slap in the face. So,
but they didn't explain the lack of Discovery Klingons.
Well, why would they? They never existed. Let's just forget they exist. If they had a line in here saying, "Oh, you guys look different" or whatever, that would have ruined it for me. I'm glad they're just going on about the business like this. How Klingons should look. I don't know.
But I'm just saying they might not want to go that route if they haven't with their Klingons at all, which is okay.
Yeah. They're fixing one thing and destroying another, it seems like. And that's just kind
of... But I do think there'll be Klingons or at least Klingon friend and Enterprise against Gorn. I think that would work really well. even if it's my enemy is my friend, meaning we don't
Yes.
love the Klingons clearly, but we can work with them. Clearly implied in part 1, we're working with them.
Mhm.
Episode 1, but the Gorn are now threatening both both, you know, because we border them, so maybe they border us. Wow, and you know, we need their help. That would be really fun. And you know,
What's going to happen is that a Gorn ship's going to get Klingon ship's going to get attacked by a Gorn, and then Pike's going to contact the nearest Klingon ship, which turns out to be this captain, and the view screen is going to turn on, and it's going to be like he's got a razor, and he's like, "Hey, we just went to war with the Gorn. What do you guys want?" "Oh, you need our help. All right, hold on. We're at war. I got to shave my head now."
No, Stuart, they're so
as soon as he sees
hardcore.
his head,
No,
he
Stuart.
turns around, and the back of his head goes boop, and it pops out because the hair was holding it in. So now they're all elongated
No, I
again.
think you're missing the joke, Stuart. Klingons are so hardcore. What he does is, Pike, you've saw me. We've just declared war. Takes the disruptor out. Setting. All his hair goes, and then, because it's on that setting, it heats his head, and then it expands, it bulbuses, because they're at war, right? Because every day they do the phaser shave, and it grows the head, because it becomes swollen for war.
The phaser shaver.
Phaser shaver.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's quicker, right? You just shoot yourself in the head every morning. How metal is that? Oh, God.
Very Klingon.
Not really, but it's funny. But
Starbase Sci-Fi 1 throws in £5. They were cheeky fuckers, to quote the Irish Romulan from Star Trek Picard. That could be an excuse for the change in the Romulans in Stranger Worlds.
I mean, both are real. That's the thing. You can argue both.
Yeah.
So it's you know, Romulans have never gone back. Klingons have gone back and explained it, so it's a little bit different.
And Deadman says there was a green Andorian in TNG. Not so much green tinge, but still had blue enough that it was like very much like an Anar almost, because of different colors skin, but not so far off the blue spectrum that it was like green. It wasn't like Orion green, but I know what you mean, Dan.
And one example does not prove they could just be an albino Andorian, but their version is being green, right? You need to see more than one example. But it's, you know, like I said before, if you make them not blue and take out the antennas or stumps of antennas, if they're not the two things that define Andorian, are they Andorian? Or if the Andorian dyes his hair? Again, the white hair is part of it. It was Andorian with blue hair, because why not? It's like, it wouldn't feel right. There's a certainness to that, right? Yeah, but I think Klingons will come in and help. I can imagine, especially if they
Four more
want...
likes, though, guys. 4 more likes.
Yeah. Especially if they want to outdo Season 1, which was a pretty substantial, you know, set of things. And, you know, that was, I assume, testing the water of can we do a legacy thing, but a bit different, and as long as we have a reason to accept it. Because that's a lot of stuff they used. So doing a full-on Klingon versus Gorn versus Starfleet battle at the end of Season 2, that feels right to me.
As long as there's not 5,000 ships and 55 fighters that come out of the bay of the Enterprise.
Yeah, well, but they've now got a fleet. They've got, you know, the many Peregrine class.
Sombra class.
Sombra.
USS Peregrine.
This is a medical Sombra. This is a tactical Sombra. This is an engineering Sombra. Is it different? No.
It's like a little mini Connie. Comes up beside the Connie. It's like half the size.
Hey, big brother!
Exact same design.
I went through the shrink ray before I went through the production line. I'm you, but smaller. Yes. But then, you know, they've obviously shown the fleet at the start of the season. That there's some logical sense of that. I can imagine maybe all the admirals take command of the ships. That would work well. Yeah. They don't need to outdo themselves for Season 1, but structurally it'd be fun. Setting up a year of conflict, and then there you go. Especially as I can imagine a Cold War is almost more interesting if you actually had a semblance of peace and it got so fraught because it went wrong. And because you started the peace with mutual conflict, meaning we were fighting Gorn, we got used to seeing each other fight. Like in a way of like, well, we know what we can all do, let's not fight each other, versus Discovery, where it was like, well, we have no idea how powerful they are. Fight. Oh shit, they're big. Out of the way. yeah, there's some logic there.
It would almost be great if we find out that the Klingorks from Discovery, the ones that started the war and were participating in the war and had to wear ship designs, were ousted by these other Klingons, and these Klingons took over. But then there's a lot of internal Klingon strife you'd have to talk about, and it's just... I'm just trying to retcon things.
Yep.
But they're not going to mention it. I think the way they did it was just fine. It's like, hey, here's the Klingons now. Let's move forward. Let's just not even... We'll talk about the war occasionally, because it's going to be a big thing with M'Banga and Chapel, because they both took part in the war by the sounds of things. So, and I'm sure that's going to there's going to be a backstory about that at some point. They're going to get stranded. They're going to get stranded with a Klingon that was at the siege of whatever, and they're going to have to work together. That's a common trope in shows like this, where they actually like hate each other and then they have to work together. So,
but I brought up M'Benga. Yeah, flashbacks. We're going to get real Klingons or Discovery Klingons. Because if he's in a war with the Klingons, that's only during the Discovery era.
All three, as we've talked about, real Klingons, Discovery Klingons, and the Smoothheads as well. It'd be great to see a scene with all of them fighting Federation. That'd be great.
Yeah.
The stupid war. It's their Macho Grande. We don't talk about Macho Grande.
Or could they get away with doing these new Klingons but shaving their heads? It's like,
no.
Oh, okay. Because then at least they kept the one tangent of it. I think that the added hair gives them all that depth, right? Or is they're just bumpy-headed bald guys, you know?
Fleet Pod throws in $2. So Chancellor Laurel coming back is undesired? No, I think her coming back would be good, actually. I think she did a good job as Laurel, and they made her look much more Klingon by the end. But again, we don't need her necessarily. It would be a shame if she didn't come back, honestly. But at the same time, it's not needed. So,
I mean, normally we love callbacks to other shows. That's kind of our jam. But Discovery's such a hardball when it comes to that stuff. But then because Laurel and Tyler are kind of feel like a kind of a part of the same coin. One without the other would feel almost weird. But, you know, just like Kang, Koloth, and Kor from 2S to TNG, have them got the new makeup and don't even mention it, right? Just that's how she is. It'd be easier for her to act, quicker for her to be on set. Yeah. I mean, she'd be able to do, conventions where she can join the other Klingons and do full makeup and be justifiable, because that'd be great. I know, I mean, how many thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands is J.J. getting from just being them again on stage? Wonderful, I love it. Love it. Yeah.
The Scottish Nightmare says, what about the baby head? To be fair, it was a fake baby head, but
yeah, I would appreciate, I know she likes it, but the lack of the whole mother ideology. Just have her be a good leader, Laurel. Don't need to get to sycophantic cult stuff. I know she's also, follow me or I'll blow up your planet. I get that. I mean, in fairness, she should probably been, forced out by now because somebody worked out to just sever the connection between the bomb. Remember, she's only in power because Starfleet put a bomb inside Kronos that will blow up the planet.
And they gave her an iPad.
Yeah. That's it. So let's oust her and have her come back as I want to bring back... Oh, I can speak properly. I want to bring back power to my empire. Didn't you get powered by bombing Kronos? I almost bombed Kronos. You almost bombed Kronos? I could have. Right. I'm not giving you the keys to the Cadillac anymore. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Chancellor Duras. That's why he got pissed in later years, because his great-granddad was actually the Chancellor. Oh no. Oh no. I guess we're in final super chat slots, Stuart. Another 20
I guess so.
Would be ideal. Vote in the poll. I want to know your thoughts.
And we got likes at 101. Welcome to Likes 101, where you're going to learn all about hitting that like button. Thank you for the likes, guys.
Well said, I think, maybe.
Sure, maybe, kind of, maybe. We only have 50 votes in the poll, so if you haven't voted, go vote on the poll.
Go do it, I know.
And yeah, last Super Chat slot. Anybody want to say anything? Now is the time. A couple of 5s and 10s would be awesome to finish out here.
Real close to it, real close.
So we haven't had a snipe war in a while either, and since Klingons are back, they like their disruptors. I'm just saying, might want to have a disruptor snipe war for the last Super Chat slot. So you can have your voice heard, be the last Super Chat word, if you will. Consider doing so.
Briefly at the start, but they're an alternate universe, so they're not really relevant specifically to the... They don't represent evolution. They represent, we're doing our own thing. Goodbye. That's it. They're not to be referenced because they're not part of the lineage, the design. They're their own thing. That's okay. They're fine. I like them. Weird helmets, but that's all right. Yeah, so no live tomorrow because you are busy with people things.
I got shit to do.
In the geared. And then on Thursday, you're doing your first reaction, which is I'm looking forward to seeing because I believe this is a trial one. That's what's been hinted at.
Yeah. Yeah.
With, hey, uniforms. You're trying. You guys are trying.
Dress uniforms. We're going to have a lot of videos. Talk about that.
We can talk about how...
Start getting that prepped right now. Get all the dress uniform stuff from Court Martial and stuff. You should probably do that. And Menagerie. Yeah, go do that. Get it ready. Half done. So it's easier for you after Thursday.
By easy, you mean just... Same of effort, just spread out, yeah. I hope there's more than that, though. I hope there's more than just... I hope... Oh, I wonder if we're going to see a new... Well, it'd have to be a new Starbase, wouldn't it? Because they're not at Starbase 1. Ooh, I hope it's a new Starbase.
We'll have to see. That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Ooh.
Speaking of Starbase, though, Starbase Sci-Fi 1 puts in 5 pounds.
Wow.
I'd rather the Disco Klingons became outcasts in the way of DS9, like in the episode where Dax and Kor went hunting the albino. Yeah.
It's just so annoying, because if the entire council had been normal Klingons, and Takuvma sect had been radical Klingons, perfect. All the cool explanations they could have done, but they triple mega down. To the point if you can't retcon it, it's just broken. It's just a broken thing. Move on.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Friday our full review. I'm excited.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be the best. What's the B plot going to be? Because it can't just be a... I'm not super engaged on the Illyrium stuff. Like, it seems...
Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a B plot.
Oh, unless maybe some of the team are like, we must escape her, like break her out, versus the political way of doing it. Might be like 2 strands of the... Although no, Spock, there must be a Spock storyline because he's dealing with some serious stuff.
But I saw him on the stand, though, testifying, so he's going to be at the trial.
Well, that could be part of it. I mean, she's clearly one of his mentors, so how do I... Because he's breaking his emotional barriers to the nth degree. That might be a huge thing of the story. Maybe he's recused from service because he's...
It's going to be like... Yeah, it's going to be like, in the history of the Illyrians, it has been proven that they never once sang or danced. Well, I have proof that she sang and danced with me in a turbolift. So, my God, take that into consideration, won't you?
Hard cut to cringe. There's been a model... And then hard cut to... Fucking... Look! My roller coaster! Spock, where did our roller coaster go? We had this a year ago. Well, Commander, it was dumb. I know, where did it go? Well, can you imagine if they just reshot that sequence and just added a Total shaft? Just a real one? It's a green screen shot. Just do it, it's fine.
Marco Van Osh throws in 250 euros and says Disruptor Snipe. There you go, there's one. Boom. Amazing. Ronan Fay throws in 5 euros.
Euros are good.
Honestly, I hope Discovery just gets forgotten in time and that the producers learned from their mistakes.
It feels like they are.
It's always going to be a pimple on the ass of Star Trek, unfortunately.
I mean, it might be somewhat thought of like the animated series, where, I mean, it's kind of canon, but it did its own thing, and because of the format, they could do really weird stuff that some doesn't work. It's like,
well, if they dive into this multiverse of Star Trek, like Doug Drexler's stated, we already had the Kelvin timeline. all intelligent Star Trek fans realize that the Discovery and Strange New Worlds is the Discoverse. So tie that into Prime somehow, and you can have the multiverse, and then it's fine. It's its own thing.
Yeah, but Discovery Enterprise is in Picard, and Picard is mentioned in the Golem is mentioned in Discovery, and the Golem body wouldn't happen in Discovery.
Yeah, Picard season 2 or season 1 had the Strange New Worlds Enterprise.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
There's a few things that they can't exist. Discovery, we see it in Prodigy. So
multiplexing. It's crossovers of dimensions because of an event.
And it's just sad.
So you get little peeps into the other dimension.
Well, okay. But it'd be sad if they did that, which would mean Prodigy not canon, but the writers wrote it to be canon. So it's like, just because one art team decided to show Discovery, now you're decanonized from Prime because that doesn't make sense. That'd be a shame. Just push it back.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Hey, just don't talk about it, and hopefully it'll be kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback throws in $2 with a pew 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 phaser fight engaged. Phasers versus disruptors. Who picks the side of Klingons? Who picks the side of the Federation? Go. Looks like the Federation's winning right now with Fleet Paw's last super chat snipe there.
Yeah, I do hope we get more phasers in Strange World, because phasers are so fun. I like phaser versus the. Yes, calm down.
Hey, look, Stephen Hawking has a smiling face in the chat.
What? 1 second, I'll move away. Hey, that's uninformative to say the least.
He's enjoying the content. We're all smiling here.
I'm sure we'll get him to pop down for our Trekyards birthday live stream. Oh goodness, whenever that's going to be, which will be fun.
Marco von Osh throws in €250 and says pew pew disintegrates. There you go. See, now it's on.
I've got a fan film coming up from a Dominion team who had me design an effect where the aliens get attacked and their ships both get destroyed and phase into another universe at the same time. So that was interesting. That was fun.
Yeah.
And in fact, because that's just how their universal ships work. Every time they get hit in a phaser fight, the ship there's a phase effect. It's quite. I had fun with that. It was annoying, but I had fun with it. I just kind of kept throwing effects at something till it worked. Basically, I was like, "Oh, that worked mostly. Let's do that."
So your dad's giving spoilers because you got a replica of Spock's dress uniform and it fits you just right. So are you gonna do the review with that on, or at least the filming of the edited content?
Maybe. What depends. Am I on trial, Stuart? What are you saying?
Yes, you are. I need a bell. Ding.
Ding.
Ding. Ding. Sorry, I got to do 3. I had to get all 3 out.
Oh, it's very important. Yes.
This court is now in session.
You're being accused of being British. How do you plead? Well, Governor, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, look, blimey, sir. Look, let me eat my bangers and mash, and then I'll get back to you. Post haste, Governor. Oh, fuckers. Oh, bollocks. I think I gave it away, didn't I? Oh.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's an English accent.
That's a Cockney accent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback throws in $2. Take cover. Phasers.
Evasive maneuvers. But once again, guys, I just want to thank the production team for sharing production art of the costumes and of the ships. And in fact, I was able to speak to the guy briefly on Twitter who did, if you remember from yesterday's... Oh, of course you remember, Stuart. Yesterday, the guy that actually did the art of the landing sequence, I said we gushed over it, which he was quite pleased about, because, from us, it's quite positive. And he said he was just given the asset of the ship. He didn't design it, he was just given it.
Nice.
I said, any other shots of it? That's great. Yeah. Oh, I can't do Liverpool again. That would be embarrassing.
Because what he just did wasn't, apparently.
Well, let's do a Canadian accent. What's your best Canadian accent?
My best Canadian accent is a Minnesotan accent, because Minnesotans speak more like Canadians than fucking Canadians do.
Okay, give it a go.
I'm not good at that. Well, how about that, eh? Yeah, I can't do one. I don't even know what to say. For fuck's sake.
You got a moose, haven't you? You got a moose, eh?
Oh boy.
We need to go the old.
Sorry.
There is just certain key phrases, and there's no like in between.
Yeah, there's key phrases. I mean, yeah. People from Minnesota.
I won't the boot to the coop, eh? It's like, well,
Yeah.
Hmm.
You've seen Supernatural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Donna? Donazilla, the cop, the female cop.
Yes.
So quite a few times. She's from Minnesota. She's got a Minnesotan accent. Sounds very Canadian. No, do to boot it. No, do to boot it. Yes. We all speak like that. I hide it very cleverly for these videos so that you guys don't know that I'm... You wonder if I'm Canadian.
Because wandering is half battle, G.I. Joe, right? That's what they say?
Right. Bob and Doug, eh? Hey, hoser.
Well, you do say A. You do have a certain of the elements. I will say A.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was fun. This was. I'm glad I did more prep because that was good stuff to look at. Huzzah!
This was a really good, informative live, and I really enjoyed this one. So hopefully you guys did as well. Hopefully a lot of people watch this on the replay.
Yes.
And get some good insights. Share it around, guys.
We do try and add those informative elements.
We do the work, so you don't have to.
In essence, yeah.
But you all contribute to it with your
yes!
conversation, chat.
It's needed. It's fun. And yes, keep your ears to the ground for the Trekyards birthday live. That'll be fun when we get around to that. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Dear me. And I guess my next fan film has to come out next week, so look forward to that. Oh dear, stress. But it's it's the first film with a runabout as the hero ship, which
a runabout.
E.
I like runabouts.
God. Yeah. No. But
Marco
yeah,
Van Osh.
Pretty rare for runabouts in fan films. I'm excited to see what you guys think of it. And GoFundMe is still running right now. We are almost at $3,000 or pound goal, which is great. I need to start building the full Indiegogo soon with all the lovely perks. And boy, I've got a lot of perks I've been building up.
Nice.
Yes, and Matthew's £20. Thanks so much. Very kind.
Marco Van Osh puts in £2 or €250. Ugh. Today is a good day to die. Pew pew. Oh, Fleet Paw, you've been outdone.
Rude. It's not going to die today. No, thank you. I'm happy to live. What I thought I was looking for. What is it called? Don't worry about me. I'm just.
Okay, take off, hosers.
Oh, well, I guess Nick did. That was technically right about the whole thing.
Get out of here.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
On that note,
we're about time to head out.
Time to head out. Yes, exactly. See, you're better at it than I am.
What do you got for the super? No, that's French. Super. Well, I guess Canadian. I'll be Canadian. Sir Stuart, what are you having for the dinner? The supper? I'm the Canadian. Can you tell? I'm the French Canadian. It's much easier to do the French accent than the Canadian accent, besides the French Canadian accent, eh? I'm the French, eh? let's go a boot. I'm the French a boot. I'm doing the French accent. Where's the boot of the Mounties? There's we love the maple syrup. All the veggies you too. You too, yes. Still the
Fleet
Canadian.
Paw Swiftback throws in $2. Time to break out the compression rifle.
Oh god.
Pew. Wow.
I don't love that rifle. It's weird.
Oh, TR-116 for the win. Just saying. All right. Looks like Fleet Paw might have won that.
Fair enough. Good. Oh, the poll. The poll's true. Final.
Oh, yes.
Are the Season 1 Discovery Klingons legitimate Klingon design? No! They are too different, with 63%. Yes, variation of species, 24%. Or 13%.
Perfect.
Fair enough.
They've proven what we've known all along. All right.
Fair enough.
On that note,
All right.
looks like Fleet Paw won the Super Chat battle because Marco Van Asch has backed off.
Oh, cool.
And we will leave it.
Are you saying he has no honor? Seems a bit harsh, too.
He is an honorless targ, yes. And a patoch on top of it all.
Wow.
Anyway, kapla to you, Fleet Paw.
Jesus.
Olivia Julius shows up with $2. I got a new puppy. Love pugs no more. Fine then.
Define, man. You gotta read that comment, that's funny.
Stuart, you have not lived until you have read Sherlock Holmes in the original Klingon. It's good. That's a great note to end on.
That's good. Good job.
So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Have yourselves a great night. And until next time, he is Commander Cocky.